Welcome to Campaholics.
I'm Christy.
I'm Mandy.
And I'd rather be camping.
Welcome back, happy campers.
We're going to talk about, you guessed it, more camping.
Yeah.
And today, Mandy, I think we're talking about Leave No Trace.
Yep, that's right, Christy. There's so many different things that could mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to cover a lot of weird stuff today.
Right. I mean, really, when you first brought up the title Leave No Trace, like my brain went one way and I think yours went another, but it somehow works together. So
As always.
I know. This is our relationship, okay? Oh.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about stories of what we've left behind.
Yeah, some things you don't want to leave behind.
Yeah. So I have left behind probably more bodily fluids than anything.
Please do define.
I feel like I have probably thrown up from one side of the state to the other.
Wow.
At this rate.
Is this in the Guinness Book of World Records?
I know, and I'm sure everyone by now probably thinks I'm some crazy alcoholic who just gets like drunk, like binge drinking and throws up everywhere. I just want to establish that for one, I am camping, so mind your own damn business.
Well, and I do have to say, from the time I've camped with you, I don't think you've thrown up once.
No,
so.
A lot has changed, Mandy. A lot
Okay,
has changed.
okay.
I'm a lot more responsible now. Like I'll actually, I know what I'm doing now. But it took a lot of trial and error to get here. Let's put it that way.
Yes, I'd love to hear more about this.
So I wasn't actually camping, but it was a hike. And my friend and I were like, we're going hiking tomorrow, like super early. And I was like, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But I went out drinking the night before.
All right, that doesn't sound good.
Nope. And I was irresponsible and I stayed out later than I should have. And I got like no sleep. And instead of just like texting my friend and saying, you know what, buddy, like I am hungover and there's no way I'm climbing a mountain today. Instead, I was like,
you're doing it.
I'm going.
You were motivated.
And you know, I made it up. I did okay.
Okay. You made it up out of your bed?
Well, I did. And then
and you made it up the mountain.
I made it up the mountain. It wasn't until we were coming down that I was like, uh-oh. I was like, I don't feel good. I was like, I'm going to throw up.
Now, wait a second. What was the weather? What mountain is this? Like, I'm just trying to get a good picture of what's going on here.
So, I can't remember the name of the trail, but it's in Tempe off of, like, South Mountain, and it's, like, the...
Yeah.
It's like a petroglyph. Not even.
It's back by that huge resort back there, and
like
then there's the South Mountain. Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it was, like, over there. So, it really wasn't that bad. But it was probably... summer, fall-ish.
Okay.
And so even at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's like 97 degrees. So it was not ideal conditions, to say the least.
No.
So again, I just couldn't say, hey, I drank too much and I shouldn't be hiking. Instead, I was like, let's go.
Yeah. So you made it up, but then it was the way back that things didn't go so great.
It was not going great. And I ran off behind a bush and started throwing up very loudly. Oh. And this is a pretty busy trail. Oh. So then I start forming a crowd and everyone's asking my friend, is she okay over there? Is she everything with her? I'm like, please.
It's fine.
Leave me alone. I just drank too much last night. I'm dehydrated as fuck. Like, I don't know.
Getting it out of your system.
Yeah, I had some demons to expel.
And in the heat. That doesn't sound fun.
It was so terrible.
So I can imagine the sound, but I'm sure it had a smell to it too.
It was one of those things where like you just kind of like threw up and kept walking. Like I just gotta keep going.
Keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah, so I left a lot behind that day, mostly my dignity.
Oh, these are things that we don't really want to leave, but sometimes you have no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One time I almost fell in the fire.
Wow.
It was bad.
It was bad. I mean, okay, so there has been something that, well, I'm pretty sure it's still up on the rim somewhere. And I just, to this day, every time I get my broom out, I'm like, where did this piece go? So in my trailer, you want to have lightweight, small, compactable things.
Yeah.
because, you got to be careful about the weight you're pulling.
Sure.
So I have this really cool put together broom, and it's like 3 pieces. You screw them together and it makes a full size broom.
Oh.
Well, one trip I put 2 pieces together and I'm like, where is the 3rd piece?
Yeah.
And to this day, I cannot find it.
Oh, no.
So now I am a hobbit sweeping my trailer every single time. But every time I use it, I'm like, I know I wouldn't have left this behind, but it is somewhere up there. It is like one of those little itches you can't scratch. You're like, where is that thing?
It's like that missing puzzle piece. Like you did the whole puzzle and there's just one piece missing.
Or I'm like, I've kind of convinced myself it's in the trailer somewhere. I just haven't found it yet. But in reality, it's probably gone.
Yeah. How long has it been?
I would say almost 3 years.
It's gone, dude.
I know. And I am like so stingy that I'm just like, cannot bring myself to buy another one. And Brian's like, just get another one.
Just
and I'm
get
like,
another one.
No, it's somewhere. I'm going to find it. I'm like, hanging
as
on to
soon
this
as you
thing.
get a replacement, someone will buy you a new one.
I'm going to find
You're
it.
going to find it.
Ridiculous.
That's how it always works.
There was one time too that we were driving away from our campground and we almost forgot Ranger's leash. I was like, wait. And then we went back and sure enough, it was right there.
Oh, God.
So I was glad about that. I mean,
yeah.
I've had this leash since she was a puppy and I'm like, I need her leash. Being all sentimental about it. But thankfully we didn't lose it. So
I didn't leave trash behind, but I put the trash on top of my car to drive out, right? And then throw it away. And I was going down the freeway and forgot about it.
So you didn't intentionally do this?
No, it was a complete accident.
I bet that was funny to watch.
Yeah, I was like, what is happening? Gosh, shit.
I know, we're all about like, clean up your camp, do this.
I would
then it's
never litter.
And Chrissy's got this like 5-gallon trash bag spewing all over the highway.
Like a Hansel and Gretel situation, like breadcrumbs, but it's trash.
Oh, so there are some people that want to leave other people behind.
Yeah.
There's this crazy story I have. We went camping. It was a dispersed-ish campground. It was like a loop, but it wasn't.
Okay.
There was a camp host for a season. They come in and then they leave and whatnot. So there was a camp host this time. I believe it was a holiday weekend. We were camping, and these other campers came in next to us, and there were 3 people. It was a husband, a wife, and a friend.
It's some random dude.
It was a girl.
Oh.
So I just thought maybe this is the girl, the friend of the wife.
Sure.
Well, apparently the husband went off to town with the friend and left the wife, which later we found out had never really been camping before.
God.
And they couldn't find her.
Shit.
And so we had the host and all the campers looking for this wife. And he's just like, comes back. He's like, she hasn't camped. She wouldn't wander off. They think maybe she went to the restroom and then couldn't find her way
Sasquatch
back.
got her.
Yeah. Anyhow, it was really weird because, like, why would the husband and the friend go and then leave her if she's never camped before? And they just set up. It was bizarre. Anyhow, so then, like, the park rangers came, the law enforcement. They rallied up all the campers to, do a side-by-side search. So we were all looking through the forest. We were all, like, about arms with the light, next to each other, looking, combing the forest. Well, then, somehow, this wife lady had lost herself to the highway, back to the highway. She was in flip-flops.
Oh, my God.
Somebody found her, brought her back to the host station, and then there was, like, this whole investigation going on. Like, what is...
That's weird.
It's like we wanted to know more details, but it was one of those things where we couldn't get close enough to really hear, but we knew something was up.
Yeah, that sounds like they intentionally left her there with the hopes that she would get lost in the woods.
He was hoping there was leave no trace,
I
think. It was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to watch this on 2020 and next year.
I'm sure there's plenty of those like stories out there. That's freaking crazy.
It was just odd. I still to this day am like, I can't make sense of this.
Yeah, and she's just walking around in flip flops.
I know. Like, who does that?
I mean, that would probably be me, but
that's true.
But I know where I'm going.
Exactly. I mean, you got your cool little compass now. You'll never get lost.
Exactly.
Oh man, if there's items out there that you guys have lost before, and have a story with it, we would love to hear about it.
I know Reese has lost some stuff. He's lost strange things. Like he had like this tiny little knife, like a little pocket knife. That's gone. He actually has lost a lot of knives.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of knives out there.
Well, and you know what's funny that you say that? Remember the last trip? I think it was the last dispersed trip we did up north. He found the little glow-in-the-dark spider that we camped at that same spot before.
A year ago, yeah.
He's like, look, Mom, I found this.
I couldn't
to you."
believe
I
that.
know.
That was kind of crazy.
That was crazy.
So you never know, man. You might find that piece to your room.
Yeah. Yeah. And we talk about leaving no trace, but it kind of goes with, okay, what was lost? And then I'm like, well, what was found?
Yeah.
One time, Hannah found this ring in the forest. And we were like, oh, this is nothing.
to rule them all.
We're like, it's probably just a cheap little ring. It's like a legit wedding ring.
That's crazy.
I know. I think she still has it. And she's like, I can't believe I
Maybe
found
it's good
that.
luck.
Right? Maybe it was the wife's ring from that. Total different site. But hey, you never know.
Things can be connected.
I know. I know. So,
you know, I have a question because I feel like this is like a hot topic amongst like hikers and campers. You know those, if you guys have ever been like hiking or out on a trail and you see like the stacks of those little stones where they're like large at the bottom and they get small at the top, and they're called Cairn stones, conveniently enough, right?
They are?
Cairn with a C.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, they're Cairn stones.
Interesting.
And they're there to like mark the trail, right? So
Okay,
you don't get lost, quote unquote.
Right.
But then like the other debate to this is like, this is you disturbing the environment because you talk about bacteria on your hands and the rocks you're touching, right? And all these things, like you have to disturb them. So like some people get really upset by the Cairn stones and like, you shouldn't be doing that.
I mean, if that's the worst you can do to the environment, like that's better than like having your 5-gallon trash bag spew all over the freeway.
Yeah, and that's, again, I think that's the thing, is like everything's about a realistic balance, and people are very quick to point the finger at someone else and like, you're doing it wrong. And then they're over there polluting the air worse than anybody else with their God knows what.
It's like, I don't get it. It's like the animal activists that are like, free the animal crackers on the animal cracker box.
What the heck
and I'm
is
like,
that shit? Is that really where we're at?
I know. Like, do you not have anything more important to think and worry about than a box?
Like, I could help you out, buddy. I got plenty of work to get done.
Exactly.
if you need a hobby, I can help you out with a hobby.
Right. This is not a true issue.
No, there's so many other things we could be working on.
Yeah. Yep. I know we touched on once in our campfire meeting about leaving no trace in your campfire.
Yeah.
Just leaving all that broken glass and debris. It's not fun.
No, and a lot of people, another one, a lot of people will burn wood, like pellet wood, and there's nails in there. And like, if you leave that around, someone's going to drive through there and get a flat tire. You're going to ruin someone's camping trip. So you need to be careful.
Right.
Like, you really shouldn't even be bringing those out there.
Yeah.
Honestly, your wood should have no metal debris in it whatsoever.
Exactly.
But if you do, you need to make sure you're collecting it.
Yeah. Back to the broken glass from like the beer bottles or whatever.
Yeah.
We were camping one time, actually really close to the edge of the rim, and it was so windy that trip. That's beside the point. But Jay was like, "Oh man, he must have been 2. I don't know." And it was Hannah's birthday, and my parents had come, and a couple other people had come. We were setting up camp, and we were like, what is Jay chewing on? I'm like, I'm pretty sure he hasn't eaten since lunch. But this was not uncommon for Jay to just be chewing randomly. I know that sounds funny, but he would like stash his like chicken and food in his little cheeks, his chipmunk cheeks, and just like gnaw on stuff for a while. So we're like, it's probably his chicken nugget from like 2 hours ago.
Right.
Anyhow, I'm like, I just better go check on it. I pull out of his mouth a piece of glass. He had picked up a broken beer bottle and put it in his mouth and just was like swishing it around in his mouth. And I'm like, he could have cut up tongue and mouth. I'm like, what the deal?
That's scary.
Crazy. Yeah. So anyway, pick up your glass.
That's another one too, is like, really, you shouldn't even bring glass out there. Like, no glass containers. Like,
what? Yeah.
Don't drink. I know it's like usually it comes in the form like people will buy like beer that's in a bottle. Just don't do that. Get the cans.
I know.
It's not.
Plus, the cans you can set up as shooting targets later.
Exactly.
So, hey, make it multi-purpose.
There you go.
Oh.
But there's some things that are good to leave behind.
Okay.
Like Reese has a habit of planting seeds. So he tried to plant a seed last time we were out there.
That's so funny.
So maybe he'll grow a tree.
I love it.
Or even there's like this, I don't even know how you would describe it, like activity called geocaching.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's kind of like treasure hunting.
It's so fun.
It's so much fun, especially with the kids, because they really do feel like they're on like a treasure hunt for like buried treasure or whatever. But like you might have stumbled across these sites on hiking trails or campsites before. And you probably didn't know what they were, but that's what these sites are. They're called geocaching, and there's like a whole community behind this and an app on the phone where you can...
It's like a treasure hunt.
It is.
And it's funny that you bring that up because back in the day when we did it, we had the handheld GPS, like the Garmin GPS, and we would find these points in these geocaches. And it was so fun with the kids to do that. And we would... You leave something and you take something and then you like log your name and date in it. And it's so fun. But yeah, like Christy said, now they have apps for that. So you can do it so many different places and so much faster.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah, we got to get back into that.
We really do. We need to leave like little Sasquatches around.
Right? That would be amazing. Our geocache campaholic site signal, whatever.
We'll
that
have
would be
to find
cool.
Something.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like leaving no trace. Like we like to do, sometimes set up targets for shooting and stuff. So we try to pick up, our shells and things like that.
Yeah, or like on that note too, Reese got that airsoft gun, and I got him. They make biodegradable BBs.
Wow!
So I was really excited about those. So because with that point, right, like especially we talk about Reese. I'm never going to find all of those.
I know. They're so teeny tiny. I'm like, you can't. My dad used to make us find the real copper BBs so we could reuse them. And I'm like, so we would have to pick them up and then reuse them, which I understand. But I'm like, wow, this is where I get my just try not to be wasteful from.
And maybe to the extreme.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, that's cool because then you don't have to sit there and hunt through thousands of, pine needles and whatever to find these tiny little BBs.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of carvings too. Those are kind of fun, or people will leave little spray paint. I've seen rocks or like etch things into rocks. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much a rock needs to breathe.
Yeah, I'm like,
I guess it depends on what it is, right? Like if it's just an arrow, I'm like, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
But if it's like explicit content, right? I'm like,
or like bright colors that you're
this?
just making a mess of the forest. No.
Yeah, or like when people carve their names into the tree.
Right.
I'm like, do we all know like Joni broke up with Chachi a long time ago?
Exactly. Let's save that for the movies.
Do you remember that movie Ferngully?
Yes.
And was it Krista? And she was like, the tree can feel the pain.
I don't remember that part. But...
Oh, yeah, she was way into the trees, man.
That is hilarious.
That's what I always think of when we talk about leaving no trace. I was like, dude, Krista was... that little fairy was on it, man.
Oh, man. That's so funny.
Yeah, so follow, subscribe, stick with us. We'll keep up with these camp meetings and fulfill your vice of camping as well as our own, because I think more than anything we're going to mentally lose our shit if we don't talk about camping.
Unlike not leaving your trace in the forest, please leave your trace on our Instagram or our email so we can just, highlight some new things and reach out to us. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you can email us at I'dRatherBeCampingWithAK@gmail.com. You can get us on our website at I'dRatherBeCampingWithAK.com. And as Mandy mentioned, Instagram and Facebook.
Sweet.
All right.
Adios.
Bye.